My name is Elias Hawthorne. To most people who know me, especially my grandson Caleb's soon-to-be in-laws, I am simply the old man who fixes his own fence. I live in the same modest two-bedroom house on Maple Street that I bought in 1972 for $28,000. I drive a 2008 Toyota Corolla with 240,000 miles on it. I grow tomatoes and basil in my backyard. I wear the same flannel shirts and work boots I've had since the Reagan administration. I clip coupons, I eat cereal for dinner sometimes, and for the last 15 years, I've let everyone believe I'm just scraping by on a small pension. No one ever asked why I never seemed worried. No one wondered how I paid my property taxes on time every year without fail. No one noticed that I never borrowed money, never asked for help, never complained about prices going up. They just saw an old widower in faded clothes and assumed the story wrote itself. Life had been hard, money was tight. Elias was getting by the best he could. Caleb is my only grandchild. My daughter Laura, his mother, passed away from cancer when he was 14. Since then, I've been his rock. I helped him with college applications at the kitchen table. I drove him to football practice in that same rattling Corolla. I cried quietly in the back row when he graduated summa cum laude. And when he got engaged to Sophia Langford at 26, I was genuinely happy for him. Sophia is kind, smart, funny in that quiet way that makes you feel warm inside. She's nothing like her parents. Her father, Richard Langford, is a commercial real estate developer who owns half the strip malls and office buildings between here and the state line. Her mother, Evelyn Langford, runs a charity foundation that mostly seems to exist so she can have her picture taken at galas wearing $8,000 dresses. They live in a gated estate on Lakeview Drive. 8 bedrooms, 3-car garage with a Bentley and a Range Rover, infinity pool, the works. They speak in the clipped, confident tones of people who have never once wondered if the electricity bill would get paid. From the first time I met them at a Sunday brunch at their club, I felt the chill. Richard shook my hand like he was touching something mildly contagious. Evelyn smiled the kind of smile you give a stray dog you don't plan to feed. "So nice to meet Caleb's grandfather," she said, emphasizing grandfather as though it explained my entire existence. "You must be so proud." "I am," I answered simply. They asked what I did back in the day. I told them I was an engineer. They nodded politely and changed the subject to Sophia's upcoming Paris internship. Later, I overheard Evelyn whisper to Richard in the hallway, "He seems sweet, but honestly, darling, it's a little sad. The poor man probably hasn't eaten at a place like this in decades." I didn't correct her. I never do. Over the next 8 months, the slights piled up quietly like snow on a rooftop. At the engagement party, held at their mansion, of course, they forgot to set a place for me at the main table. I ended up on a folding chair near the dessert buffet, holding a paper plate. When Caleb mentioned I might need a ride to the venue because my car wasn't reliable, Evelyn offered loudly to arrange a car service for him so he doesn't have to worry about breaking down in that old thing. At the bridal shower, Richard asked me, in front of 20 people, if I needed a little help with the wedding gift. He said it with the generous tone of someone offering spare change to a panhandler. I smiled each time, nodded, said thank you, and went home to my quiet house, watered my tomatoes, and waited. The real test came with the pre-wedding luncheon. It was scheduled at Willow Creek Country Club, the most exclusive private club in the state. Membership initiation fee is $150,000 plus $25,000 annual dues. Black tie optional, but everyone shows up looking like they stepped out of the yacht catalog. Caleb told me it was just family in the wedding party, about 40 people. He sounded nervous when he called. "Grandpa, you'll come, right? They really want you there." "Of course I'll come," I said. He hesitated. Evelyn, asked if you had something nicer to wear. She said the dress code is strict." I looked down at my khakis and button-down. I'll find something. The day arrived, a crisp Saturday in early June. I ironed my best navy blazer, the one I bought in 1998 for Laura's funeral, and paired it with gray slacks that still had the dry cleaner tag from 2015. I polished my old loafers. I even combed what little hair I have left. In the mirror, I looked exactly like what they expected, an harmless, slightly shabby old man who didn't belong. I drove the Corolla to the gate gas. The guard looked at my car, then at me, then at the clipboard. Name? Elias Hawthorne, guest of Caleb and Sophia Langford. He checked twice, then waved me through with visible reluctance. The valet, a kid no older than 20, stared at my car like it might explode. "Sir, are you sure this is the right place?" "Positive," I said, handing him my keys. Inside, the dining room overlooked the 18th green. Crystal chandeliers, white linens, waiters in black vests moving like ghosts. Caleb spotted me first and hurried over, hugging me tightly. "You look great, Grandpa." I patted his back. "You look terrified." He laughed weakly. "They're just intense today." Sophia came next. She kissed my cheek. "Thank you for coming. I know this isn't your scene." "It's fine, sweetheart." Then Evelyn appeared, cream silk dress, pearls the size of grapes, smile fixed in place. "Mr. Hawthorne," she said, air-kissing both cheeks without touching, "so glad you could make it. We saved you a seat." She led me to the table. It was a long rectangle near the windows. Every place had a name card in elegant calligraphy. Mine was at the very end. Literally the last chair, half hidden behind a floral arrangement so tall I could barely see across the table. No one helped me sit. No one pulled out the chair. Richard was at the head, holding court. He glanced my way once, nodded curtly, then went back to talking about his latest condo development. The appetizers arrived, tiny crab cakes the size of quarters. I ate mine slowly. Conversations swirled around vacations in Aspen, private jet shares, the new chef at the club. I stayed quiet. I listened. Halfway through the main course, seared scallops, $65 on the menu if it listed prices, Evelyn leaned toward Sophia and said, loud enough for half the table to hear, "Darling, we really must talk about the rehearsal dinner seating. We can't have anyone uncomfortable." Sophia flushed. "Mom." "I'm just saying," Evelyn continued, glancing my way with exaggerated pity. "Some people aren't used to these settings. We don't want poor Mr. Hawthorne to feel out of place." Richard chuckled. "We could set up a little table in the corner for him, like a kid's table. Keep things relaxed." A few people laughed politely. I felt Caleb's foot nudge mine under the table. An apology. I met his eyes. I gave the smallest shake of my head. Don't. Then Evelyn turned directly to me. "Mr. Hawthorne," she said sweetly, "tell us, do you golf? We could get you a guest pass sometime. I'm sure the pro could give you a few pointers." "I don't golf," I said calmly. "Of course not," she replied. "It's an expensive hobby. But maybe after the wedding we can sponsor a lesson or two. Our treat." More quiet laughter. I set my fork down. "Actually," I said, "I'd like to speak to the club manager for a moment." Elias paused. The table went quiet. Richard raised an eyebrow. "Now?" "Now," I said. Eleanor, the longtime maitre d', appeared almost instantly. She knew me very well. "Mr. Hawthorne," she said respectfully, "how may I assist you?" I stood up slowly. Every eye followed me. "Would you please inform the members present," I said, "that the owner of Willow Creek Country Club would like to address them?" A ripple of confusion. Eleanor nodded once. She walked to the small podium near the entrance, tapped the microphone, and spoke clearly. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention? Mr. Elias Hawthorne, owner of Willow Creek Country Club and its affiliated properties, would like to say a few words. Silence. Absolute frozen silence. I walked to the podium. My old loafers clicked on the marble floor. I stood there, still in my 25-year-old blazer, and looked at every face. Richard's mouth was open. Evelyn's hand was frozen halfway to her wineglass. Sophia looked stunned, but not surprised. Caleb just stared at me with wide eyes and the beginning of a grin. "Good afternoon," I began. My voice was steady, the same voice I used 40 years ago when I presented patents to boardrooms full of suits who thought I was beneath them. Today, I learned exactly what some of you assume. I paused. In 1974, I bought my first patent, a hydraulic valve system for offshore drilling rigs. Sold it for $1.8 million, reinvested every cent. Over the next 30 years, I registered 47 more: fluid dynamics, seismic sensors, pipeline monitoring tech, licensing deals with Exxon, Shell, Chevron. By 2005, I had enough to retire comfortably. Another pause. But I didn't retire. I bought real estate, quietly. Strip malls first, then office parks, then, in 2011, this club, and 3 others like it: Willow Creek, Pine Ridge, Silver Oaks. All cash purchases through holding companies. No